Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Entner with your Friday, December 7th morning market commentary. As always, we'll start off in corn and say that yesterday's ethanol report was a little bit disappointing at 1069. That makes the third disappointing report in a row. These aren't crucially low, but again, we're not even meeting last year's pace, and USDA is expecting an ethanol pace of 0.8% above last year. So that's the sign that if you get any number below last year, obviously that'll be considered disappointing. The question is if exports can help pick up the slack for the ethanol, and so far they have. Yesterday we had an 8 a.m. sales announcement, and this morning the weekly sales came in at 1180, which is above trade expectations. So that'll help to offset some of the ethanol slowdown that we've been seeing here recently. And of course, there's always that hope that China will purchase some U.S. corn. Again, some of the earlier talked about numbers maybe not feasible, but if we could get any Chinese purchases when we normally get virtually none, obviously any purchase from them would be helpful. The corn still hanging around the 383 level in the March. Once again, let's point out there's still a chart gap down there at 378 in the March, and we continue to see pretty active resistance anywhere in the mid 380s. Switching over to beans, we are now hearing that we could be seeing a official Chinese purchase announcement anytime now. In fact, some people were believing you could hear it late yesterday or overnight. As of this morning, we still haven't heard anything official, but with that news on the horizon, we did see overnight trade bounce again going into the final few minutes overnight in case something comes out between the overnight and start of the day session. Other good news for the beans is that the weekly sales did pick up a little bit. They were 891,000 tons, so that is an improvement over previous weeks. Maybe that's a few other sources buying before China comes in with an official announcement. So we'll keep eyes and ears peeled for that. That'll be the biggest news for beans if we get any announcement during the day. And of course, if not during the day, over the weekend, Sunday night. So we'll just want to keep constant watch on that. Over in wheat, we have a bit of mixed news from Egypt. After just recently announcing they wanted to delay shipments of wheat sent to their ports, they came in and bought 350,000 tons of Russian and Ukrainian wheat. Not really sure what to do with this type of news when 1 minute seems like they're slowing down and the next minute they're buying more wheat. But again, if you tie it directly to the U.S. markets, we're not seeing any more direct Egypt purchases of U.S. wheat. So the influence will be minimal. Of course, any good news will go up a few cents, bad news will go down a few, but what we need to see is a direct improvement in sales. And we did get that on today's weekly report. 7-Eleven was on today's weekly sales report. We've been saying for weeks now that anything 600 or more would be considered supportive, and that's the first 700 number we've seen in quite some time. So we may see wheat see a little bit of additional support from that. Over in cattle, we did get a 118 Fed cattle exchange trade in the middle of the week on Wednesday. That would be steady with the previous week, and ever since then, futures have assumed that the open market trade will either be 118 to possibly 119. All day yesterday, Packers kept the bid of 116 in the open market, so it still appears as though they're trying to pay a little bit lower than the Fed cattle exchange, yet futures are assuming maybe they'll pay a little bit higher. Maybe the answer is somewhere in the middle. Maybe we'll come away with a 118 and just be steady with last week. But as we go through today, that's just what we need to keep in mind is that Packers are still trying to bid a bit lower. Futures are assuming $1 higher, and we'll see what we actually get. Keeping in mind last week's average cash trade was 118. So that's what we're looking at here for today. If you have any questions, give us a call, 800-551-4626, or visit us on the web, allendale-inc.com.